I know how frustrating it is to work so hard to earn a decent paycheck and still feel like your money disappears before you can even enjoy it. I was stuck in that cycle for years, stressed out and living on the edge and wondering if I'd ever break free. But one day I made a choice to change. And guess what? It didn't take extreme sacrifices or complicated plans. It just took a few simple, easy to follow steps. And these steps helped me take control of my finances and finally experience some peace of mind. Step number 1 is to track your spending. The very first step to breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle is knowing exactly where your money is going. And I mean exactly. For 1 month, I tracked every single expense. I'm talking about rent, groceries, gas, that random $5 coffee, or the late night Amazon order that you place before bed, everything. And I didn't change my habits, I just paid attention. I used a simple notebook, but you can use the Notes app on your phone or a budgeting app if you prefer. The point is to write down every dollar that you're spending. Here's what you'll gain from this step. The first one is awareness. You're gonna see where your money is leaking and those little purchases add up. Trust me. Along those same lines, you're gonna see those patterns. You're gonna identify your habits that you didn't realize you had, like impulse shopping or emotional spending. And the last is control. You'll finally understand where your money is going instead of wondering where it went. When I did this exercise, I realized that I was spending over $200 a month on just eating out, and it blew my mind. That was money that I could have really been saving or using to pay down my debt, and this step alone was such a wake-up call that I needed. Step 2, make a simple, realistic budget. Once you know where your money is going, the next step is to give every dollar a job, and that's what a budget does. And listen, a budget isn't used as a punishment or a restriction. It's just a plan. And a plan tells you where your money is gonna go and what's it gonna do in order to help you achieve your goals. Here is how to create a really simple budget. The first thing you're gonna do is wanna list your income. Write down how much money you bring in each month after taxes. The second step is to list your fixed expenses, your rent or your mortgage, your utilities, your insurance, your car payments. These are all non-negotiables, and these are your fixed expenses that aren't gonna change every month. Next, you're gonna list your variable expenses. These are groceries, gas, entertainment, eating out. These are things that change every month that aren't the same. Next, I want you to set aside some savings. Even if it's just $10 a week, make saving a part of your budget. And next, I want you to add a fun category. Yes, you can still have fun on a budget. A budget should be realistic and sustainable. Your budget should balance out, and if your expenses are more than your income, it's time to cut back on the non-essentials. Now, there's a ton of budgeting methods out there. You can try the cash envelope system, zero-based budgeting, or percent-based budgeting. Find out what works for you. When I created my first budget, it definitely wasn't perfect, but having a plan gave me peace of mind, and I knew exactly how much I could spend on groceries and fun without feeling guilty. All right, step 3 is to build a small emergency fund. One of the biggest reasons that people get stuck living in paycheck to paycheck in that cycle is that unexpected expenses pop up. And if you don't have savings, then those surprises are just gonna wreck your budget. So what is the solution? And that is to build a small emergency fund. And no, you don't need thousands of dollars right away. You just start small with $500. It's enough to cover a car repair, a medical bill, or just a surprise expense without getting into debt. Here's how to get started. Save a little bit at a time, $10 here, $20 there, and trust me, every little bit does add up over time. One really helpful tip is to automate it and set up an automatic transfer to a savings account every paycheck that comes in. Take this time while you're building that emergency fund to cut back. Skip takeout for a month, bring your lunch instead of buying, cancel a subscription, and use that money to build up that emergency fund just for this small time. Step 4, tackle your debt without feeling so overwhelmed. And debt can keep you stuck living that paycheck to paycheck life, but you don't have to pay all your debt off at once. I use the debt snowball method, and it made a huge difference. When you use the debt snowball method, you can list out all your debts from smallest to largest and ignore the interest rates for now. Pay the minimum on all your debts except the smallest one. Throw any extra money at that smallest one until it's gone. Once it's paid off, then roll that payment into the next smallest debt. And then you're gonna keep repeating this process until you're debt free. And this method works because those quick wins really keep you motivated, and paying off that first debt feels so amazing, and it gives you momentum just to keep going. I started with a small credit card debt of about $300, and when I paid it off, I felt like such a champion. That win gave me the confidence to tackle those bigger debts, and it was just like one step at a time, and I got out from under that weight. Step 5, find simple ways to make extra money. Sometimes cutting expenses isn't enough, and that's when making a little bit of extra money can be a game changer. There are some really easy ways to bring in extra cash. First thing that comes to mind is just like to sell the stuff that you don't need or that you don't use anymore. Go through your closets, check under beds, clothing, electronics, toys, so you can start to declutter your home while making some extra money at the same time. If you have a skill like writing, design, or social media, you could take on a small gig like freelancing to make some extra cash. Another thing that you could do is ask for a raise at work. If you've been doing great work, don't be afraid to ask for a pay increase. You deserve it. Nowadays, there's side hustles are everywhere, and there's so many ways to make extra money. Dog walking, babysitting, tutoring, driving for Uber. And through all this, I don't want you to feel like you're working all the time. You don't have to work 24/7, but even just that extra $100 a month can really build into savings and pay off debt faster. For step 6, I want you to automate everything. One of the easiest ways to stay on track with your money is to automate your finances. And the ways that you can do that is through your bills by setting up automatic payments so you don't ever miss one. Savings, like I said earlier, automatically transfer that money into your savings from your paycheck. Your debt payments too, automate those minimum payments. You definitely don't want to get back and behind on those and have extra interest and extra payments on that. Automation means that you're making good financial choices without having to think about it. It's like setting your future self up for success. Step 7, shift your money mindset. Breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't just about the numbers, it's also about how you think about money. How to change your mindset is to focus on progress over perfection. Small steps add up for big changes. You can use affirmations in your day-to-day life. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, say, how can I make this work? Take the time to visualize your goals and imagine what financial freedom looks like for you and let that motivate you. Always remember that budgeting and saving are not punishments, they're tools to give you that freedom and peace of mind. All of these were the exact steps that I used to stop living paycheck to paycheck. They're simple, they work, and they can work for you too. All right, to wrap up, I want you to start by tracking your spending, create a realistic budget, build a small emergency fund, tackle that debt just one step at a time, make extra money where you can, automate everything, and then shift your mindset to focus on progress and possibility. If you have found this video helpful, please smash that like button, subscribe for more practical tips on managing your money and building a life that you love. And let me know in the comments which step you're going to take today. I'd love to hear your journey and cheer you on. You've got this. I believe in you. Now go take control of your money and your life.